Dui de la ka chien hon chin bang tiang on my tu neen. Fu hop voi doi tuong 50 plus. Gun guaro wrong. Truong tan. Kong slang qua tre. Nin man jia tri jia din. Song ly. Va bao ved san. Tua jung guin ka trian. Ka truck. Boi can Colorado Mountain. And hung thay tin diet dan ne de quin thuak han. Pine Ridge, Evergreen Ridge. Cabin o ku vuk gon bear lodge inspired in hung ju Colorado. Thay doi tat ca tin nan vat. Miles Blackwood Jack Harlan. Brenda Hartwell Evelyn Cartwright. Rick Donovan Vince Harlan. Kong Lean Quan Ho Vince Mallory. Frank Kowalski Ray Thompson. Eleanor Denver Margaret Ellis. Janet Morse Carla Reynolds. Tom Bradley Ed Whitaker. Sarah Mitchell. Laura Bennett. Deputy Rodriguez Deputy Ramirez. Etc. Gia Tri Mineral Rights Jiu Chin Tuk Ti Han Dua Trend Search. Kong $50 to $80 million Cho 40 acres. Qua Fong Dai. Ma Koang $10 to $20 million UOC Tin Conservative Cho Deposit Lawn. The Hop Ly. Dudai Koang 40,000 KY2. Koang 6,500 to 7,000 2. Kimtra. Ka Chi and Dui Day 38,500 KY. 2. Bao Gom Koang Trang. Ka Chi and Ko Hook Man. New Chow Treo Kitch Tin. Consat. Nap. Audio Confession. Perp Walk. Yuta Tran Luan. HOA Power Abuse. Vigilantism versus Law. Violence Temptation. Ket Tuk Aro Wrong. Thoa Man. Bat Dao Truck Teep Veo Chien. Kong Intro Ken. She demanded my grandfather's cabin keys, so I built a lock she could never crack. You don't belong here. Hand over those keys right now. Evelyn Cartwright, president of the Evergreen Ridge Homeowners Association, stood in the doorway of my grandfather's old mountain cabin like she owned every inch of it. Her polished boots ground pine needles into the worn wooden porch, and her voice carried that clipped Denver tone that always set my teeth on edge. Not a chance, I told her quietly. Her smile froze. Fine. Keep them. But I'm calling the sheriff. And she did. 20 minutes later, 2 deputies showed up, lights flashing through the aspens. She'd reported me for possessing stolen keys to property that wasn't mine. I had to pull out the deed, probate papers, tax receipts, everything, while a handful of neighbors gathered at the edge of my drive to watch the spectacle. Calling the law on a man for keeping keys to the home his family built in 1964. It was absurd. But that's when I decided. If someone was going to play dirty over my inheritance, I'd respond with something she couldn't charm or sue her way around. I'm Jack Harlan, an electrical contractor who spent 30 years installing security for folks who have good reason not to trust the world. Cattlemen guarding herds, executives protecting patents, the occasional off-grid type with more rifles than neighbors. But the place that mattered most wasn't a client's compound. It was Grandpa's cabin in the high country outside Evergreen Ridge, Colorado. He built it himself in '64. Hand-hewn logs from trees he felled on site, stone foundation quarried right out of the hillside, a clear trout stream running through 40 acres bordered by national forest. We added the off-grid solar together when I was 16. I thought I knew everything about wiring back then. Summers up there meant sawdust, motor oil, and Grandpa teaching me one thing above all. Anything worth having is worth protecting. Locks keep honest people honest, he'd say, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses. But the dishonest ones? They need more creative solutions. When he passed at 92 last year, the inheritance was clean, no liens, no disputes. I own the place outright, worth maybe $800,000 on the surface. No mortgage, just clean mountain air and 60 years of family memories in every log. 3 months later, I was replacing rotted deck boards when a silver SUV crunched up the gravel. Evelyn stepped out in spotless hiking gear, clipboard in hand like a weapon. She'd moved to the gated section 5 years earlier after cashing out of some big city law practice, bought a $2 million place, and within months talked her way into HOA president. Mr. Harlan, she said, marching up the steps. We need to discuss your compliance issues. What issues? Your cabin violates aesthetic guidelines. That rustic look doesn't fit. Solar panels are an eyesore. And that old diesel truck, please. This place predates your HOA by decades, I said. Grandpa built it when this was just wilderness. I'm afraid the Evergreen Ridge Association has jurisdiction now, she replied, smile never wavering. 60 days to comply. Estimated cost, $45,000. Or we place a lien and force a sale. I should have seen it then. This wasn't about paint colors or panel placement. It was the first step in something uglier. Get off my land, I told her. Her eyes narrowed. Clock's ticking, Mr. Harlan. As her taillights disappeared down the mountain, Grandpa's words echoed. Time to get creative. It started small. Tuesday, my phone rang at a job site. Sheriff's Department. Theft report. Keys to a cabin that allegedly isn't yours. I drove down, stomach tight. Deputy Ramirez was a local guy, more interested in fishing than drama. Look, Jack, this is nonsense, he said, sliding papers over. But we have to follow up. She claimed I'd forged documents, that the cabin was community property. I showed him everything. He nodded. We'll clear it. But the accusation's public now. In a small town, that sticks. She wasn't trying to arrest me. She was ruining my name. That weekend I dug through county records under buzzing fluorescents. Found the HOA charter had expired in 1989. Colorado law requires renewal every 25 years. Evelyn's authority? Worthless. Worse, a shell company, Ridgeview Development, had been buying up properties cheap after owners got hit with fake violations. Registered agent, Vince Mallory, Evelyn's live-in boyfriend and a local contractor. And Carla Reynolds, deputy building inspector, Vince's sister-in-law. Monday I filed. Harassment, false police report, fraud conspiracy. Restraining orders. $300, well spent. Evelyn hit back hard. Rumors I was unstable, dangerous. An emergency HOA meeting where she called me a threat to elderly residents. Neighbors started avoiding eye contact at the post office. Then the unmarked trucks appeared at dawn, surveying, photographing, staying just off my property line. Diesel fumes hung in the clean air like an insult. I upgraded everything. Motion sensors, infrared cameras, license plate recognition. Every vehicle, every face, logged and backed up to the cloud. Thursday, an inspector showed up. Solar panels supposedly a fire hazard. We walked the system together. Your grandfather's wiring is better than half the new installs I see, he said. This complaint is garbage. Friday, power company checked for illegal connections threatening the grid. Clean as a whistle. But the real escalation came at night. Cameras caught Vince's crew cutting fence, dumping debris near the stream, trying to create environmental violations. Then, 2:17 a.m., they returned. Plastic bags placed near my electrical panel and inverters. White powder. Meth, I later learned. Next morning, anonymous tip, chemical odors, possible drug lab. They wanted felony charges, asset forfeiture, property seizure. But my system had it all. Clear footage, timestamps, GPS. I had help now. Ray Thompson, retired FBI forensic accountant and neighbor, organized the evidence. Margaret Ellis, a 73-year-old widow, handed me a folder her late husband compiled before the stress killed him. 5 years of forged documents, illegal fees, 6 families targeted. Vulnerable people, elderly, veterans, single moms. This wasn't a bad neighbor. It was organized crime wearing an HOA badge. Then the survey from 1961 fell out of Grandpa's old files. Subsurface analysis indicates significant rare earth deposits, lithium, neodymium, praseodymium. Conservative estimate, 10 to 20 million in extraction value. Grandpa's deed retained mineral rights in perpetuity for the family line. Even if they forced a surface sale, the underground stayed ours. They weren't after the cabin. They wanted the minerals beneath it and the corridor across the ridge. Evelyn had borrowed millions against future mining profits. My refusal threatened everything. I turned Grandpa's workshop into a command center. Monitors, maps, financial trails. Priority 1. Upgrade the door to something unbreakable. Military-grade electronic deadbolt, rolling codes every 30 seconds. Biometric, fingerprint plus palm vein, living tissue only. Mechanical backup, custom keyway, so tight even experts would curse. Remote app, real-time alerts, redundant power. If they came, they'd regret it. Sunday night, the alert hit at 2:47 a.m. 3 figures through the trees. Vince leading, tools in hand, jammers, picks, crowbars. I watched from my truck down the road, streaming live to the cloud and the FBI. They tried everything. Jammers useless against hardwired backups. Picks slid off the custom keyway. Biometric light blinked red again and again. Audio captured it all. This is impossible, Vince snarled. No cabin lock should be this tough. They pulled out bags of powder again, planting. I called it in. Agents and deputies swarmed. Crews scattered, evidence preserved. Monday morning, Evelyn called an emergency town hall. Photos of my cameras edited to look menacing. Rumors of threats, weapons. But Ray had rallied the neighbors. Ed Whitaker, disabled vet, stood first. The only danger here is her people trespassing and planting drugs. Margaret Ellis next. She destroyed my Herald with fake violations. The stress took him. Laura Bennett had documents too, fraudulent septic claims. Then Carla Reynolds walked in with federal agents. Evelyn Cartwright, you're under arrest. Racketeering, fraud, bribery. Handcuffs clicked as she was let out past the people she'd tormented. She bonded out fast. Tuesday, an emergency health order, solar panels leaching toxins. But FBI had raided county offices, emails, falsified reports seized. Deputies served the evacuation papers apologetically. Off the record, this is bogus. Federal injunction filed by lunch. Independent tests showed pristine water. Wednesday, Vince arrived with armed men claiming authority to secure the hazard. My system screamed, sirens, strobes, auto dials to every agency. They tried crowbars, grinders, even small charges. Nothing. Audio caught Vince yelling into his phone. The lock won't break. FBI's everywhere. Then Evelyn's voice, burn it down. 20 million in rights is worth more than one cabin. Confession recorded. Game over. Thursday's community meeting packed the hall, media, agents, neighbors. I projected 2 years of proof, footage, finances, audio. This isn't about aesthetics. It's 8 million in fraud, families destroyed for minerals. Audio played, burn it down. Silence, then outrage. Agents stepped forward. Additional arrests. Standing ovation as more cuffs clicked. 6 months later, sentences landed. Evelyn, 12 years. Vince, 7. Carla, 5. Restitution fund top 4 million, returned to victims. Mining permits revoked. Watershed protected forever. My lock design licensed nationwide. Royalties fund legal aid for rural owners. Grandpa's cabin stands, stronger, safer. A place for family, reflection, and the occasional security tour. A hidden safe deposit box surfaced later. Extra documents confirming higher value. I donated the mineral rights to a conservation trust. The land stays wild, protected. Justice wasn't just served. It was thorough. Now, folks, that's my story. But what about yours? Have you dealt with HOA overreach, property disputes, or felt the sting of injustice from people in power? Drop your thoughts in the comments, especially on the line between standing your ground and crossing into violence. When does enough become too much? I'd like to hear your take. Share your experiences. Let's talk about it.